My tip or trick of the week is, especially because this weekend is the first of a few of these fall fiber festivals that are in person. So I wanted to talk about a couple of things that you can do to defeat festival overwhelm. I hear about that all the time. That people will come into the building that I'm in, or they'll say it to me, or they'll say it to their friends, and they'll just say, "Oh, I'm so overwhelmed. There's so much here to look at, and I'm so overwhelmed." And yes, there is, and it's very easy to be overwhelmed. But there's some things that you can do to protect yourself and to make it so that your day or your weekend, however much time you're spending at a fiber festival, or really any other kind of festival or a craft show, is to take care of yourself. So here are 3 things that I think are really important. Number 1, go with a plan. You should always have in the back of your mind, or even written down, like something that you really are looking for. On my website, I have a page that's called Free Learning Resources. On there, I do have a printable that's called Defeat Festival Overwhelm, and it's like a shopping list. And I say, pick like 2 patterns that you are thinking of making in the next year, and then write down, what do they call for? What weight of yarn do you need? Do you need fingering? Do you need worsted? How much yardage do you need? How many colors do you need? What kind of colors do you need? Like, do you need to should it all be semi-solids? Or is it like all variegated, or is it some of each? Do you want spreckles in it? Do you want a combination of like a semi-solid, a spreckle, and a variegated that go together, so that you have kind of in your mind what you need. Also in there it says, like, what needle size does it take? Do you have that? Is that something that you need to get also? And then I'll also on there is like, do you have the pattern already? Because it's just that you have it all in one place, and so it's easy for you to use. And so you have two of those columns to do that. The third column is like equipment that you might need, or presents that you might want to give. Like, is there somebody that just really loves ceramic coffee cups, and so you definitely want to stop at one of the potters and see, because I think it's something like 90 days or 92 days until Christmas. I know, don't kill me. I just said that. But, maybe there's somebody that that is a knitter, and you'd really like to get a nice shawl pin for them. So write it on that part of the list. Or maybe there's, you in your group, you do charity knitting. And so maybe you want to look for something that would go in that, some kind of like kid color or something like that would go with your charity knitting that you do with your group. So again, that's on my website. It's flyinggoatfarm.com, and then look for Free Learning Resources, and the brochure itself is called Defeat Festival Overwhelm. So that's tip number 1. Have a plan. Because if you have a plan, then you're not getting distracted by all the other pretty things. Squirrel, right? You know what you want. And then if you also find something that, oh my gosh, I love this yarn, well, then get it. That's okay. But it's not that you don't have to be overwhelmed by so many choices, because you have a plan. Number 2, take breaks. Take breaks, because your eyes get tired. And at the Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival, and also at at Rhinebeck, where we'll be in October, there's lots of places to sit down, chat, be sure to bring some water with you, please. Bring some water, bring a snack, sit down with your friends, something like that, so that you are taking dedicated breaks. Like, I would say, once every hour, you should be sitting down, resting your eyes, and chatting with your friends or with your loved ones that you brought, and just making it a really nice day, not a frenzied, like, have to day, right? That's what gets us kind of a little overwhelmed too, is because it's like, oh my gosh, I have to get there early, I have to get there first. You know, there's plenty of stuff, right? And so, you know, take your time, and, you know, if I can be a little woo-woo, the stuff that, whatever it is that you're looking for will still be there when you are there to get it, because there's some kind of connection between you and that yarn. That's a little woo-woo, but anyway, take breaks. And number 3, be sure to feed yourself. And, you know, again, at Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival, they have really reduced the amount of food vendors that there used to be. So, you know, if you were going, like Sandy says that she's going on Saturday, I would bring a picnic lunch. I mean, that's what we always do that because it's hard to get out of our booth at a time that we don't get overwhelmed, right? When we need to take a break. But, you know, feed yourself. Take that time to do that. And, you know, if you're going to Rhinebeck, or I think that one really has the best food. I'm going to just be honest. There's so many fun things to try. And so that can be also a part of, you know, kind of what you plan. Like, oh, for sure this year we're going to get the fried artichokes from the artichoke lady. For sure we're going to go to the hummus guy, you know, those kind of things, if you know what's going to be there, and if you know that it's you're making it an event. And let's face it, we have been inside for almost 2 years. So it's going to be really fun to get out and really make this an event. But it's also, because we haven't been out and about, I think it's a little kind of disconcerting. It can be a little bit stressful. So doing these things, have a plan, take breaks, feed yourself. And feed yourself includes bring water too. And those things will really help you enjoy the day. And that's what it's about, right? It's not about saying, oh my God, I've got to get, you know, all this yarn, I've got to get it. Of course, as a vendor, I'd love you to come and get it out of my booth. I'm not going to lie about that. But my concern is that you have a great time. When you have a great time, then you bring your enthusiasm and you bring your outrageous creativity to the party. And it makes it so much more fun for us vendors as well. And one last thing that I want to say about the Shenandoah Fiber Festival, or even Rhinebeck, like, wear your stuff. Like, if you made something in this past year, you made it from some of our yarn or some of our roving, bring it. I want to see. I want to take a picture. And I think every other vendor at any other show would say the same thing. We love seeing our stuff out in the wild, and we love seeing what you thought of making with it, because it's your creativity is different from my creativity. And so it's really fun to see what other people, how they put things together. I was just watching a live for this shop that is in Idaho that has my stuff there as a trunk show. And the owner of the shop took one of my sock yarns, and she paired it with some kid mohair. And she's doing like this stripy pattern. I never would have considered making that. And boy, was it beautiful. And it's like, wow, I never would have thought of that. She has a different sense. She has a different color sense. She has a different creativity sense. And, you know, my eyes got totally opened up. So that's really great.